Before we begin, thank you very much to Galvatronus for joining the Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. It is a new year. It is a new view for the channel. I'm really looking forward to what's coming up this year and all the ideas that I've got in mind. And if you want to see it, hit the like button, hit subscribe button. And of course, if you want to make sure the channel survives, a dollar to a month in Patreon is incredibly appreciated. So thank you everyone who's helped make the channel a lot bigger than it was about this time last year. I thought since I announced that I'm going to be doing animation stuff again, I thought it was a good time to go back and look at what we know about the next Transformers cartoon. And that is not a whole lot, but we got enough that we can start kind of getting a premise for it and kind of figuring out what feeling the show is going to have. So let's kind of go over everything, and we'll just take it from the beginning and see what we got. So, we already know it's going to be Nickelodeon, which already sets, well, see, it sets off a couple warning bells because, it's Nickelodeon, it's thought of more as a much younger kid-centric thing, mostly because the animations they do, like, they've had Power Rangers and, of course, Avatar, so they've had projects that are definitely a lot more, let's not say mature, but a lot more serious. Things that don't take their audience, things that take their audience more seriously. So I'm already that's already a concern. Now the other part is this one is apparently going to be a comedy series. This is an even bigger red flag. So I'm all in favor of trying something new with the Transformer brand, and I'm fully aware that a Transformer cartoon is not for me. It is for children, and it has to be for what children like now. It has to be for what children are into now. And yeah, like some of those popular things are animated comedy shows for kids. Big, long, episodic, big, long, like story-centric things that have, like ongoing plots. Show producers for these networks really, really do not want that. They want episodic. They want something that you can tune in, sell a toy, and get out without missing anything. So it is actually very difficult to convince them to go, yeah, we're going to do something like Avatar. You can't really do that right now. It's not what they want. So I'm expecting similar to this. I'm expecting it to be episodic. I'm expecting maybe an origin episode and then 25 episodes that could be taken in any order without any kind of repercussion, without losing the plot or anything. So the initial premise behind this is, in the action comedy series, a new species of Transformers must find their place and purpose among Autobots, Decepticons, and a human family that adopts them. The 26 half-hour series will premiere exclusively on Nickelodeon before it rolls out internationally. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so we know all that. What strikes me in there, of course, is the part of new species of Transformers that are not Autobot, not Decepticon. They're adopted by a human family and have to figure out what their role is and what their place is. This already strikes me as... This already strikes me as, like, it just sounds like mini-cons. It just sounds like we're going back to mini-cons. I don't know. I don't know if the... I don't know. Hopefully not. I wonder... I'm really genuinely wondering why it's cast as a new species of Transformer. Like, if it was animal-based, it'd be Maximals or Predacons. If they were tiny, they'd be Mini-Cons. So what makes these stand out that sets them apart? Also, it does sound like that whatever Transformers are adopted by this human family, they're going to be the kid appeal characters. They're going to be the Bumblebees and Hot Shots of the whole batch. So now that makes me wonder, well, one, if they're trying to find a place amongst Autobots and Decepticons, you really think anyone that we're following around with a human family is going to go Decepticon? And beyond that, I really hope that whatever new thing they do is likable, because it sounds like we're going to spend a lot of time focusing on them. That is my concern. So they have to be really, really solid. My red flags do come from people who are working on this. So we have Ant Ward as the executive producer, and then the co-executive producer. who's also the developer, is Dale Malinowski, and both of them were from Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I hated Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have seen every Turtles thing since its inception, and there's very little of it that I enjoyed less than Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I thought Rise was a bad idea, bad concept from the start. I thought it was a bad take on the series. I hated the art style. It sounds like the art style is not going to bleed over, but well, we'll get to that. But for what we know right now, I've not had much faith. Now, Nicole Dubik is actually on board from Transformers Rescue Bot, so at least there's someone who's experienced with the brand, but it is the kid-centric version, which is not shocking. Like, I would almost expect this to be closer to Rescue Bots than, you know, anything that we are familiar with. I think it's just weird that in a time when Transformer fans are being reminded of Beast Wars so much, to go in a direction that's obviously going to be, you know, very kid-centric. Okay, Icon Creative Studios is handling the animation. So they are taking the reins while Hasbro's Boulder Media is doing the Bots animated series. That one I know even less about. They've done good work. The articles cites Elena of Avalor, Monsters at Work, and Kong, King of the Apes. Visually, yeah, those shows all look really, really good. So, animation-wise, I'm not terribly worried about that. We still don't have they're still hiring. Like, in March, they were hiring for animators for the job, and it's supposed to be debuting summer 2022. So let's hope they make that. Now, the creative talent for the show also raised a bit of a red flag. So, Jordan Rosado is going to be the storyboard director, and they worked on the Owl House, which is... Okay, Owl House is a great show. I know Loud House has a lot of fans. I don't know if that particular... It worries me that, like, obviously, if you're writing something for kids, you're not going to be able to... You know, you can write whatever you want, still be good at it. I just don't know if it's going to be the right tone for a Transformers series, because we do know it's going to be a comedy action series. So more akin to, like, right now, my expectation with the crew that's working on it is somewhere between RID 2015 and Rescue Bots, where it brings in a lot more of the comedic elements from 2015, but is definitely more kid-leaning than past Transformer shows have been. Less things that, you know, an adult fan can enjoy, and much more, you know, child-focused, young child-focused. So, let's see. And okay, so this section, this article just actually acknowledging that. So nothing else new. You really just post a whole new blurb just for what we just had. Like, it's the same post. We just added one name to it. And despite this apparently coming in the summer, so like less than 6 months away, that's all we really know. So we can get an idea for what the past creators have created, and we can kind of get a view of what it's going to turn into when it actually becomes a TV series for Transformers. Okay, I am an adult fan. I've been watching the cartoons since G1. This is not made for me. I can go, oh, I have reservations and trepidations about this direction for Transformers, but I also know nothing. I'm not a TV executive. I haven't paid attention to ratings for shows that are more comedic or episodic for kids versus, you know, something that would be closer to Beast Wars. I don't know any of that. Don't know any of that. So you have to try and view this objectively. Realize it is for a child audience, and then go, is this the right thing for Transformers? The only thing for me is I don't know if what they're going for can properly capture you know, what Transformers has usually been about. You know, I feel like there is far less. It feels like it's not going to have as much, you know, Autobot versus Decepticon, you know, the 4 million-year-old or 9 million-year-old war, depending on which fiction you're reading. It definitely feels like some of the tone is going to be lost. Like some of the nuance of the original Transformer concept is going to be lost here. Maybe kids respond, maybe not. See, I am of the mindset that if you're doing something that is different from the original, you're doing it for a modern audience, for a child audience, I don't care how it turns out for me. I care how it turns out for them, because if it gets them into the discussion, if it brings them into the fandom, good. You know, if a Transformer show now that is very comic, you know, very comedic, very kid-centric, lets them grow up to be a Transformer fan, and they go back and they watch, you know, Prime, they go back and watch Beast Wars, they go back and watch G1, and they're still into it, great. That's how the fandom grows, doing different things, finding different audiences. Good. This is the last thing I want to do about this is gatekeep and say, oh God, no, don't do this, don't do this, don't let these people in. No, no, different is good. And if it's a different that goes to someone who is not me, that is also good, because I am always going to have different tastes than what a kid today is going to want. And my tastes are already in the fandom. We need new blood. That's how fandoms survive and grow, is by bringing new people. Different things bring in new people. So I'm taking an optimistic approach. On the upside, it is going to be CGI animation. That's one thing we actually do know about this. So, you know, even though we have a storyboard artist from the Loud House, it's not going to be 2D style Loud House. And in CGI, things like, you know, the chibi simplistic stylings that we've had in cartoons in modern days is not going to be an issue. That I also take away. Because that style is much harder to do in CGI. CGI, I would expect characters to be more in proportion with each other. So at the very least, I think visually this should be really, really good. And then beyond that, it's how well do they deliver the comedy, and how much does it get in the way of the action part of the show. So that's where my head is going right now. I am keeping optimistic that even if it is not for me, it is still good for the audience it's intended for. Because if it is, that's still good for the fandom as a whole. So it's just weird to me that we're this close to when it was supposedly debuting. You know, of course, there's pandemic and all that and all kinds of delays. But I was hoping we'd know a little bit more than this, because we're apparently, like, you know, within 6 months of its release, and I've not even seen concept art. I haven't seen, you know, any kind of teaser trailer, nothing. We know nothing. And that's kind of why I did this video, just to highlight the fact that, like, we're this close to a potential release. We know nothing, which is weird, because they're usually so eager to roll out, pardon the pun, everything about a new show and get the hype going and get people paying attention to it, and we got nothing. No toy, no nothing. You know, and the fact that we don't even have, like, toy listings yet for this stuff tells me that we might actually be in for a much longer wait for Transformers to return to animation than previously anticipated. We might have to be waiting on, like, a potential 4th series of the Netflix show to get new animation, which is kind of a scary prospect. But that's what I got. Those are my thoughts right now. What are your thoughts? What do you hope for in the next Transformers cartoon? Are you hopeful? Do you have trust in the team? Or is this just everything that Transformers should not be? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, we're doing animation again on this channel. We're going to be talking some tunes, which I can't use, which I wish I could use as a name, but that's Rob Paulson's podcast. So, yeah. So stay tuned. Omegamation is coming, and we're going to be talking some animation, and I'm actually super excited for it. So I'll see you then. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.